Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And what a beautiful early fall day here in north central Washington as we look down on the Wenatchee Valley from our Sky-Fi tower camera up at Wenatchee Heights. We call it the cross camera. And lots of blue sky out there today. A few fair weather clouds as well rolling through our area. But I'll tell you what, this will be the last 70-degree day we might see the rest of this year because we have big changes to talk about, and that will begin by tomorrow. We'll see high temperatures only in the low 60s, and then Friday night and into Saturday, snow is a possibility. We will see some very cool and chilly wind chills as well moving into Saturday night, into Sunday, and maybe even Sunday night. We even see some slick mountain roads because of this winter storm that is barreling through the Pacific Northwest and all the way over into Montana, and we will talk much more about this gigantic weather system a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A Burien man who injured 3 people in a jet ski accident on Lake Chelan must serve 6 months in jail. And another sign that summer is ended, burn bans will be lifted in Chelan and Douglas counties next week. And Standard Paint and Flooring is relocating its downtown Wenatchee store to a new location just north of town. But first, we begin tonight. Police will provide extra security at Quincy High School after arresting 2 students Wednesday over an alleged threat on social media. Both were expelled and the case is under investigation. Assistant Superintendent Nick Bergman said students can expect to see additional police presence at the high school for the next several days, but the threats do not appear to be credible. A Burien man who injured 3 people in a jet ski accident on Lake Chelan must serve 6 months in jail. Lorenzo Alejandro Lopez admitted he'd been drinking when he steered his watercraft into a friend's jet ski on June 14th, injuring himself, the other adult, and 2 children who'd been riding as passengers. While awaiting his sentencing Friday, Lopez twice violated a Chelan County court's order against drinking alcohol. He'll now have to spend 12 months in an alcohol treatment program once he's been released from jail. In exchange for his plea, prosecutors withdrew charges of boating under the influence. Well, and another sign that summer has ended. Burn bans will be lifted in Chelan and Douglas counties next week. As of October 1st, unless there's an inversion condition, county residents can begin burning their yard debris. Douglas County Fire Marshal Kurt Blanchard said there are different rules for burning in cities and urban growth areas, so people should check with the fire district or the State Department of Ecology before burning.
Only natural vegetation can be combusted. Your burn area can be no greater than 4 feet in diameter and approximately 3 feet high. If you have more waste than that, then you need to burn it in smaller sections, if you will. If you have orchard burning, that's completely separate from residential burning. So orchard permits for agricultural burning are obtained through State Department of Ecology. So just because you look across a lot and see, a large pile on fire doesn't mean that you can necessarily do the same. Residential burn piles need to be at least 50 feet from any structure. You need to burn during daylight hours only. You have to have water available during your burn. It has to be attended 100% of the time and completely extinguished prior to dusk. And if there is any winds present at the time, you need to extinguish it and wait until such time that the winds die down.
Standard Paint and Flooring is relocating its downtown Wenatchee store to a new location north of town. The retailer is in the process of refurbishing the building at Old Station next to Big Lots and Gateway Cinema, formerly occupied by Food Pavilion. Standard Paint and Flooring will occupy half of the building, with the other half to be leased out to another yet-to-be-named business, according to company officials. The existing store and showroom, located at the corner of South Mission and Yakima Street, is targeted for demolition to make way for the new development of a new multi-story housing complex. The Wenatchee City Council recently approved an agreement with Weidner Apartments to develop the housing development on land situated on Mission Street between Kittitas and Yakima Streets. The property includes the paint store and a city-owned parking lot. Well, coming up next, we'll talk to the winners from yesterday's Guada Innovator Awards luncheon. National Public Lands Day is Saturday, with the National Forest Service offering free access and parking at its recreation sites. And earlier this month, volunteers from 2 organizations came together to build trails for more ADA accessible access at Tierra Learning Center in Leavenworth. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Some jobs take more than skill. They require something deeper, an innate devotion to the communities in which we live. At Giza Credit Union, we help you support law enforcement, firefighters, teachers, and veterans. With every purchase you make with a Giza Local Heroes Affinity debit card, we make a donation to select organizations. After all, we can never repay them, but we can do our best to help a little with the Giza Local Heroes Affinity debit card.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
Being able to support yourself and your family is an important part of who we are. We all need to know we're able to provide ourselves with a secure future. Some job seekers have a harder time finding work. That's why Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is here, a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to help people find work. When you shop at or donate to Goodwill, you're really being a job creator, and that's a good thing for everyone's future. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
Welcome back. In another news, NCWLIFE had a chance to check in with some of the winners of the 2019 Innovator Awards luncheon on Wednesday. The annual GWADA-sponsored event was held at the Wenatchee Convention Center.
I wanted to ask about your start. You got started in a very small space. What space was that?
It's basically our garage. Hewlett-Packard started in a garage, Microsoft started in a garage, Disney started in a garage, so we were following some very famous people. We will move into our new facilities probably in another 2 weeks in Cashmere. Yes, we started very small. So,
what was it like to get involved in the Cashmere space? I mean, it was a space that had no real use for some time because of pollution, then it got remediated, and now you were there for the ribbon cutting with Governor Inslee.
in our business, we're liquor, and it's a highly regulated from a building code zoning perspective. And of all the buildings we looked at for 2 years, the Ports project was tailor-made.
Over this past year, some of our programs have been our Hydro STEM Academy, an academy for high school students. We hold it each year in June, and we have around 24 students who participate from all over the state, and actually some of them even show up from Oregon. So it's great. It's all about engineering. It gives the students an opportunity to see what careers are available in the hydro industry.
So we had a mission. Another student from another class came up to us with a little pamphlet about this competition in Seattle. So what we do is we fly drones, we computer program, we talk about cultural references. We went to Seattle and we got interviewed a lot about this. And we do many other STEM related things. We've been doing this since February, I believe.
So what have you learned?
I have learned so many different components about the STEM. I worked a lot in engineering with this challenge. It's just engineering lights and finding out different ways to make things work, and that was a huge part of the challenge. I also learned a lot of just valuable life skills, learning how to work well with others, and just learning how to be a part of a group and work with them.
National Public Lands Day is Saturday, with the National Forest Service offering free access and parking at its recreation sites. You'll still need to pay for camping and other services, however. The free day includes all national forests and monuments in the country, including the Okanagan-Wenatchee Forest. It's also a day when hundreds of thousands of volunteers take part in projects to enhance the national forest experience. You can contact your local ranger district to learn more about volunteer opportunities. On September 14th, speaking of volunteers from 2 organizations came together to help build trails more ADA accessible at the Tierra Learning Center in Leavenworth. NCWLIFE's Caitlin Hedersheet has more.
2 worlds collided at the Tierra Learning Center earlier this month when members of Stephen Pass volunteered on the property to help build trails just off the Chumstick Highway. More than just a simple trail, Tierra Learning Center is hoping to help integrate more ADA accessible activities, and Stevens Pass helped facilitate this dream. Vail Resorts began hosting company-wide volunteer events to bring its employees together nearly 10 years ago, calling it Epic Promise. Supporting health and sustainability in local communities, the team at Stevens Pass hit the road and ventured into the forest to build the handicap-friendly trail. The volunteers that day were a mix, as Tierra Learning Center volunteers and Stevens Pass employees worked hand in hand in clearing and building the trail. The crew at Stevens Pass wrote in a blog, quote, "The day was a successful and satisfying way for our community to come together to take on a task to create a natural escape for all abilities into our local forests," end quote. Stay tuned to the upcoming NCWLIFE magazine with me, Caitlin Hedersheet, to learn more about Tierra Village and the work they're doing to help adults with disabilities in the Valley. Caitlin Hedersheet, NCWLIFE News.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
When you're ready to purchase your next vehicle, make sure you stop by Sangster Motors. They're your locally owned and operated Buick and GMC dealer offering 4 acres of new and quality used inventory. Their philosophy is simple. They offer you the best product at a competitive price, all with impeccable service. Stop in today, have some popcorn or coffee at Gear Up Java, let the kids play, and talk with one of the Sangsters about your next vehicle. You'll find them on the corner of 9th and Miller in Wenatchee or online at sangstermotors.com. Caring about your family is what brings you back to theirs.
People are really skeptical of our industry. They have been sold products, they have been sold policies they either don't need, don't understand, confusing. I understand that. We are more about the process and the people. Our SFG roadmap is designed to take care of all of those concerns. For those that have questions about their retirement, we would love the opportunity to sit down and chat with you.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Time now for our weekly Kennel Cameos feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Tonight, NCWLIFE's Megan McPherson introduces us to Sprinkles the cat.
Hey guys, Megan here with the NCWLIFE channel. We're here with Renee Parkins, the Development Officer of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and joining us this week is Sprinkles. Can you tell us about Sprinkles?
I can. Or Sprinkles might want to tell you about Sprinkles. She is a sweet girl. She is about 12. She was brought to the shelter because she wasn't getting along with the other cats in her house. So as you can tell, she's a little bit of a princess on her tuffet here, and she does want to be an only cat, but she's very sweet. She's a lab cat. She loves to be petted. She's very playful. Even at the age of 12, she's still very young at heart, and she's so soft.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I could sit and pet her all day.
And do you know how she is with kids and dogs?
She's not great with, she just needs to be with adults and in her own house.
Only child?
Yeah. She also did have a bladder stone removed, so she is on a special diet, but it's relatively inexpensive, and vets can talk to a potential owner about that. But as long as she's getting her food that she needs and lots of water, she should live a long, healthy life.
And if someone wants to adopt her, what should they do?
They just need to come down to the shelter, meet her, which they will instantly fall in love with her, I think. And she's ready to go home today. So hopefully somebody is looking for a really sweet lab cat that loves to play.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to all those details, I'm not joking today. There are a lot of details coming up in weather. Let's take a beautiful look outside our weather window. Does it get any better than this for early fall? What a brilliant picture from our Wenatchee Heights Sky-Fi Tower camera. It's up around the cross. You've probably seen it lit up at night, and that's where this shot comes from. And a beautiful day today with just a few clouds out there and lots of blue sky. High temperatures actually above normal, but just wait until you see temperatures this weekend, folks. To give you a little hint, we are talking temperatures 25 to 30 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. We'll get to that in a second. Today, though, as I mentioned, above normal. It was a beautiful one out there. 75 unofficially at Pangborn Airport. Our high temperature today, 72 is where we should be. 52 is where we started our day today. 49 is now our normal low temperature. Record high back in 1962 at 86 degrees. It was a cold one in 1972 at 37 degrees. Precipitation to date means January 1st to now, and we're still at 5.71 inches for the year. Sunrise this morning for the first time, more dark than light. 6:51 sunrise. Sunset tonight will be at 6:51. Let's take a peek at your Friday now and see how our work week will end here in North Central Washington. And we will see, and you'll notice a big cool down all across our viewing area. For Moses Lake at 65, to Quincy at 63, only 58 degrees the high temperature in Ellensburg tomorrow. 60 here in the Wenatchee area, upper 50s in the Upper Valley, 58 for Chelan, and only 56 for the high temperature for you folks in Omak. Let's take a look at our surface loop now, and I'll show you why. Tonight, mostly clear skies, windy conditions. We'll see northwest breezes 10 to 20 miles an hour. You can see the wind rushing down along this line right along the British Columbia coast, and that's allowing all that cold air to funnel in all underneath a big trough of low pressure that dips all the way down to northern Arizona, and that means much cooler temperatures for Friday. We'll see breezy conditions and an 80% chance of rain as this system moves through Washington state by late Friday into Friday night, and that's going to mean a wet start to our weekend and very chilly. Much cooler, breezy conditions for Saturday, a 70% chance of rain. And look at these temperatures. The blue areas, 30 degrees, and we're going to see some of that in Washington state. More rain in the forecast on Sunday with a 60% chance of mainly morning showers. Unseasonably cold on Sunday with highs struggling to get above 45 degrees on Sunday. And then as we move into our next work week, things will get a little bit better. We're still going to be kind of locked into this cold weather pattern with more cool air coming down from Canada. Unseasonably cool and partly cloudy on Monday with temperatures still only in the lower to mid 50s. And the same goes for your Tuesday and even into our midweek Wednesday. We'll see sunnier skies, but temperatures still very chilly. Still some greens, and that means only 40 to 50 degrees for high temperatures as we move into next week. Let's take a look now at your quick Lube and Tune 7-day forecast. Tonight we'll drop down to 49 degrees. This will be probably the last 70-degree day of this year. We'll see 60 degrees for a high on Friday, a slight chance for rain during the day. That goes up overnight, and then a 70% chance for rain. Much cooler on Saturday and 51. And look at those temperatures on Sunday. Rain in the morning with clouds in the afternoon. 46 the high temperature on Sunday. Lows of 37. Great day. Stay home and watch some football. 52 on Monday, 56 on Tuesday, and we'll stay cool by midweek Wednesday next week with highs then only at 55 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
My first experience with CVCH, I had to come in with my daughter by myself with a cut in my hand that required stitches. And the care and compassion at CVCH was really significant, that they took the care and compassion and made me feel more as a human instead of just a patient there. The care they have for their community all around, inside and outside the clinic, is what I feel like is different. And that's what makes me want to come back to CVCH and recommend them to my friends and family.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, you know, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Only one dealership in Wenatchee has Motor Trend's SUV of the Year and Truck of the Year. That's right, Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram has the all-new Jeep Wrangler and the all-new Ram 1500 pickup. Or get the best of both worlds in the new Jeep Gladiator. Visit Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram today for more information on these award winners and see why there's no reason to leave town to buy your next vehicle.
The NCWLIFE channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's Learn, Guada TV, Street Talk and Other Stuff, the 12th District, Life with Lisa, and the Arbiter of Stoke. NCWLIFE channel is your local TV station.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Thursday to you. Zach Greinke nearly no-hit the Mariners last night in Houston's 3-0 victory at T-Mobile Park. The 35-year-old right-hander carried a no-hitter into the ninth inning when Austin Nola broke it up with a one-out base hit to left center field. It was Greinke's 18th win of the season, helped Houston to a single-season record with 104 wins. Also marked the 13th win in a row by the Astros over the Mariners. The two teams played 19 times this season. Seattle won just one of those. Yusei Kikuchi was tagged with the loss, allowing 2 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings with 4 strikeouts. His record fell to 6-11. Mariners welcome Oakland into town tonight for the first of 4 games. Felix Hernandez making what is expected to be his last start as a Mariner in his career. The Athletics will throw Sean Manaea first pitch at 7:10. Well, the A's come into town after knocking off the Angels last night in Anaheim 3-2. Matt Chapman's 2-run home run in the top of the ninth. The difference, the A's lead the American League wild card race, still a half game over Tampa Bay for the first spot. The Rays, Charlie Morton and 3 relievers combined on a one-hit shutout of the Yankees last night, winning 4-0. Joey Wendell and Avisail Garcia went deep for Tampa Bay. Rays lead over Cleveland for the final wild card spot grew to a game and a half as the Tribe fell to the White Sox 8-3. Well, the Wenatchee Panthers host the Eisenhower Cadets in a rare Thursday night game tonight right here on the NCWLIFE channel. Panther head coach Scott Devereaux says he expects the Cadets to constantly pressure on defense with a blitz and for their quarterback to move all over the place on offense.
You know, he's a good little athlete. He reminds me of Doug Flutie. Yeah. He's 5'6" and 160 pounds maybe, but he runs really well. He's got a great receiver he throws to. He's leading the league in catches and touchdowns. I think he has 8 of the team's 10 touchdowns. They have a big running back who runs hard between the tackles. They changed their defense up from last year. I think they're playing more aggressive on defense. So they're a much improved team. They got a couple losses where they turned the ball over quite a bit. We hope that continues. But I think, you know, if we take care of business, this is a game that we should win.
Andy Jimenez starts on both offensive and defensive lines for Wenatchee. The 5'9", 235-pound senior has worked hard to come off of injuries suffered last year.
I came back from 2 surgeries, so I was just kind of in like rehab and stuff like that. But as a team, I think we definitely stepped it up, and we all hit the weight room, and we all contributed and put in hard work.
So what were your surgeries?
I actually had 2 surgeries on my wrist. I tore most of my ligaments in there, and I broke my radial.
How'd you do that?
Wrestling.
Ah,
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, you guys, last week, I mean, how do you describe last week? That was kind of unfair, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was mostly a mental game for us. We were coming into that game trying to be as focused as we can be and try to limit all the mistakes. Yeah.
Talk about your approach defensively and what you guys want to accomplish each week.
We just want to play fast and beat teams with our strength and speed, and I think that's just how we're gonna. That's how we shut out a few teams. So, yeah.
Talk about Eisenhower and what you're expecting. They got pretty good big guys up front. They like to run the ball. They got a different guy playing at quarterback this year. What do you expect?
I think they're going to play hard, and I think it's going to be a good battle. But at the end of the day, I think we're a lot faster and a lot stronger. I think we're gonna pull it out.
So be sure and tune in. We'll have Wenatchee and Ike tonight here on the NCW Life channel. Pregame at 6:45 with yours truly and Grant Olson live from Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. Also on the prep schedule for today, Jackrabbits from Quincy on the road at Prosser tonight, while Sela hosts Ephrata. Cashmere opens up Caribou Trail League play. We're talking soccer here against Chelan at home at 6:30. They'll kick off Manson at 6:30 with the Trojans hosting Pateras. Busy volleyball schedule began, or in some cases already underway. Antioch plays at Pateras. Waterville Mansfield hosts Manson. That's also the start time 6:30 for Cashmere, where the Bulldogs will entertain Chelan. And the CWAC, Prosser's at Ephrata, while Quincy is hosting Grandview. Over in the Big Nine, Eastmont's hosting Sunnyside. Wenatchee's at Moses Lake. Cross country earlier today, Quincy hosting East Valley, Yakima, Grandview, and Toppenish. Well, the Seahawks have brought former tight end Luke Wilson back into the fold. Seattle signed Wilson on Wednesday, bringing back the popular tight end who spent the first 5 years of his career with the Seahawks. After a season in Detroit and preseason this year in Oakland, Wilson says he's happy to be back.
Pretty exciting, just being in this building. A bit surreal still, it kind of happened pretty quick, and being here, seeing everybody, a lot of new faces player-wise, but seeing all the coaches and a lot of people here, not just the coaches, but in the training room, the equipment room, guys that I've had relationships with for a long time. It's been pretty special 24 hours.
What were the last 3 or 4 weeks like for you?
A bit strange, kind of first time being on the other side. It was one of those things where I was kind of flying in and out to different places for a bit, and it's weird when things become a numbers game, and then you don't really know who to believe. Is it really a numbers game, or is that just what everybody says? So it was a bit strange. Got hit with a couple pump fakes, which were a little hard to handle, but I'm here now, kind of all worked out, and I'm very excited.
When did you first get word from the Seahawks they were interested?
I was on my way to the airport to go work out for another team on an Uber, and my agent called and said that this might go down. So I was just a quick pivot right there.
Did you tell the Uber driver to pull over?
No, because he was like, you still got to go to the airport. We don't really know much. I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm like, all right, I'll board the plane last then. So.
And when did you?
We were boarding, and I got the call from my agent and told me to. So I walked over 2 terminals and flew to Seattle instead.
And Wilson says, by the way, that Techno Thursday is coming back to Seahawks practice. The move to get Wilson happened after Seattle traded tight end Nick Van Ett to Pittsburgh earlier in the week. Seahawks travel to Arizona to face the Cardinals Sunday at 1:05. That's sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
At some point, we realized that value and practicality go hand in hand. A time when an unnoticed accumulation of items has become burdensome. These possessions still have value, but now lack usefulness. Donate your unwanted items to Goodwill and become a job creator. Your donations allow Goodwill to provide much-needed training to job seekers in our community, and that's pretty useful for everyone. Be a job creator. Donate. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.
I am